to know what Dr. Ardis does in the bathroom, you can join me for my presentation. And then Dr. Jana Schmidt took the kitchen, and that was not our request. Any sexist people out there thinking we asked Dr. Jana to do the kitchen. She said, I love the kitchen, and I'm taking that room. So we learned a lot about cookware and a whole bunch of other stuff related to how to have a healthier kitchen where most of us like to congregate and spend most of our time in a home at some point during the day. Outside of the bedroom, obviously. Hopefully you're sleeping more in that room than anywhere else. So anyway, it was a really incredible list of 4 presentations going through those homes. And we not only show you research and information on the things that create a toxic environment for you, your pets, your loved ones in your home, we show you what the alternative substitutes are for those things, or just to get rid of some things, which is, it's amazing to me how many things that impact our health are just stopping doing something. That don't require a prescription. You just need to stop doing something you do every day. And it's incredible what can happen if you just stop poisoning yourself or overwhelming yourself or burdening yourself with poisons, toxins that you probably weren't even aware of you were exposing yourself to every day in your home.
Yeah, I haven't even, Brian's presentation, he said something before that about toilet paper, which I didn't even know. That found like 6 cancer-causing chemicals on toilet paper, and the rise of vaginal and anal cancers that are it's just on the rise. Who would think that there's 6 cancer-causing or more chemicals on toilet paper? I'm thinking about people that travel and they go to the bathrooms in airports and restaurants and even in your own home. I mean, that's just crazy. It's just chemicals are everywhere, and we're just exposed to chemicals everywhere, and that's going right into your bloodstream.
Yeah, this is amazing. I have a slide in my presentation that just is describing the statistics on anal cancer. Anal cancer. Now, what's amazing is I learned over the last several weeks preparing this presentation, I did not know this before doing this presentation, that there are 21 of the most common named brands of toilet paper in America that we all use, male and females all use, that we wipe our anuses with and our front privates for all females every time you go to the bathroom. I had no idea that the 21 most common brands of toilet paper were all tested by the University of Florida recently. They took the toilet paper samples, had chemicals they mixed with them to dilute them, and then wanted to test them for chemicals inside of it that were in each of the toilet papers. And they found, like Group just said, 6 PFAS chemicals, those things they call forever chemicals, that are published to be, I quote from scientific papers, known carcinogens. That means they know that it creates cancer formation. And oh my God, anal cancers are on the rise, and everybody's wiping their butts with these 21 brands of toilet papers. Now, what I found amazing, you guys, because you haven't seen the presentation yet, but everybody who's going to watch this, I show you the research study. And you know what was amazing about the research study? Usually in the material and method section of a paper, they will tell you exactly where they got the source that they are testing, but they never disclose the 21 names of the brands they evaluated in the study. They don't tell you the names of them, which I find weird.
So I don't know if it's Snuggle or not. Is that what you're telling me?
No. So this is what I did, you guys. You got to see this because it's in the presentation. This is what I did. That day I'm learning all of this. I went like this, Michael. I went like this. I'm going to go to Target.com and type in toilet paper and then hit search. Like, what are all the brands of toilet paper Target sells, for example? Not a joke. They have these little buttons you can pick for, ply, how many different plies or sheets of toilet paper, brands, whatever. And I just clicked brand. And it pulls up a list of all the brands of toilet paper they sell at Target.com. Now, this is awesome. The total number of brands you can choose from on Target.com is exactly 24 brands. Now, the research study said they evaluated the 21 most common brand names of toilet paper. So I went through the list and I went to every single brand's website and I wanted to know, what is their paper made out of? All right, team, just so y'all know, there's only 3 out of the 24 brands that don't use those chemicals and are made from a different source of paper called bamboo to make their actual toilet paper. So all I did was put a slash. I actually show the Target.com's website search. I show you the brands, and then I slash out the 3 that don't have them. And guess what the remaining number of brands available for you to purchase is on Target.com? It miraculously becomes 21 of the most common name brand toilet papers in America. So, for example, I can tell you this. Cottonelle is one of them. Great Value from Walmart is one of them that are actually published to have had and do have these cancer-causing chemicals in them. And for me, I found it shocking, so shocking, in fact, everyone, that night at 10 p.m., I drove to Target and I bought a bamboo type of toilet paper they sell there that I'd never even heard of, this brand of toilet paper, but I was so excited that Target had it. So I went there and bought a case, switched out all my toilet paper in my home. And this is just something I never, ever even thought of. But oh my gosh, Ealy, Dr. Group, Dr. Schmidt, Michael, Jaco, just want you to know, man, I found it very disturbing that all humans in America are applying this one source of cancer-causing chemicals on our genitals every single day, and you've never been told. And then the University of Florida that conducted the study didn't even want you to know what the brands were. Do you want to know why? Because the University of Florida was worried about getting sued by the most powerful industry in the world. That is the chemical industry and the pharmaceutical industry. They did not want that getting out, man. Let me tell you. Do you remember when Oprah Winfrey years ago said on a TV show in her prime that I don't eat red meat? Do you remember what happened to her? When she just said, I choose not to eat red meat? Do you remember what happened? She was sued by the American Beef Associations. They literally took her to court saying you destroyed all of our sales and our profits overnight because you just said you don't like red meat. Imagine that. Yeah, there's a reason why they don't want you to know what horrible brands out there that are making billions of dollars or millions of dollars off of your rear end.
And I can remember, Brian, like even after COVID, when we started working on giving everybody the true information about the transhumanism agenda, which the Healing for the Ages team was the first in the world to actually take the focus away from spike protein and start focusing on the bigger picture of how it's all working together with all of the vectors for the transhumanism agenda, you know, being the frequencies and the venoms and how everything was fitting together into the main plan. And I can remember back then, you know, when they had like Dr. Anna Mahalsha and many others that were doing the technology on nanotech. And I can remember somebody actually posting something about how they were putting nanotech on the toilet paper to get it into your body. So yeah, when I heard that from you a couple of weeks ago before the presentation, I went online and completely bought all organic bamboo-based toilet paper for my house too. And I did it on Amazon, and my wife called me up because she's been traveling, and I was traveling. She's like, who in the house just bought a bunch of bamboo toilet paper? Because I bought like 3 or 4 different brands to try them out, to see which one was the softest. And I was like, I was texting her back going, that was me. I just found out that toilet paper has 6 chemicals in it.
It's funny. That's exactly what Ardis.
But it wouldn't surprise me if they're coating that with nanotech either. And I'm going to have it tested. I'm going to have Maria test some toilet paper to see if there's actually nanotech on it.
Awesome.
Because we could just be delivering nanotechnology right into our system. Right. That's a great delivery point, right?
Yep. Now, Jaco, audiences, everybody watching, I just need y'all to know something. I reference this throughout my presentation as I go one slide after another. I take you through what are known cancer-causing compounds. Now, just so you know, in medical science and research, they write the words known carcinogen. And then they build a table and they show you all the chemicals in cosmetics, makeups, toilet paper that they know are cancer-causing chemicals that all of you are applying on your body every day. All of us are. Okay, this is what's amazing, everyone watching at home. If you go to the Mayo Clinic right now, the American Cancer Society right now, Cleveland Clinic right now, John Hopkins website right now, go to any medical website right now. Go to Susan G. Komen Foundation and look at it. They will tell you the cause of all cancers is unknown. To this day, they still say the cause of cancers is unknown. Okay, listen. How come medical researchers, Jaco, how come they can tell you what chemicals are known from research studies in the human body, outside the human body, what chemicals you're exposed to absolutely cause cancer to form? after exposure, after exposure, after exposure. How come they can tell you what they know causes cancer, but the cancer industry can't tell you what causes cancer?
Good question. Why is that?
I'm asking you. Why is that?
I think probably because they get sued, just like, like we just talked about.
Okay, this is what's amazing. Maybe they would get sued, but my question is this really. Why would the pharmaceutical industry fund all of that chemical research behind the scenes to have these researchers publish what are known cancer-causing agents? And then why would the same industry, the pharmaceutical industry, fund the curriculum and textbooks of all medical schools, but never tell you that same information they are funding to do research on?
The Rockefeller Institute made them do it.
No, I really want to clear this up for everybody. I absolutely believe. I don't know. I did not go to medical school. I went to chiropractic school, acupuncture, nutrition school. Some medical doctors got to explain this to me who went to med school. Do they tell you in med school to not trust research studies? Do they teach you not to read research studies? Do they teach you not to trust reading research studies? Do you even learn how to read? Like in med school?
I know, right?
Because I'm serious. I think the actual tool they use is this technique called compartmentalization. You just keep everybody in a locked box, and your job is to just do this, but don't talk to anybody else about what you're doing. Don't share that information with others. Don't even trust giving your information to other people, researchers, scientists, that you just figured out toilet paper causes cancer and the chemicals we put in it causes anal cancer. But don't tell the medical doctors and do not send it to them. In fact, we'll put all the research studies we gave you money to conduct, we're going to put it behind a paywall for $49 to access that entire research study. Medical doctors aren't going to pay for it. They don't have the time to read it. They're not going to look at it. And we told them in medical school not to trust the research. Only trust what your pharmaceutical rep tells you. I mean, that's what I think they're all conditioned to do. You know, the old adage that you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. I think it should be, there should be a new one for medical doctors. You can hand a medical doctor a research paper, but you can't make them read it. Like they just, I don't think they know how to read, or they don't want to read. I don't know what it is, but they've been programmed to some reason to not trust research, don't look at research, and only trust these little summary abstracts where they can convince you not to go read it, and that this isn't significant, and we didn't find anything significant in here, so don't go look. We just found what we already knew. That's really what they do with these abstracts. And then to go get access to the whole real research study where the truth is, they make you go buy it and go pay for it, which I find absurd when they were already paid to do the research. Anyway, amazing. Amazingly.
Pharma and chemical companies have a way of using taxpayer dollars to fund their research through the Susan B. Komen, and that's why they say there's no known causes, so they can still keep getting donations and having the NFL teams and everybody wear pink for a month and bring in a bunch of money. And they already figured out, years ago how to get the NIH to fund all their clinical trials, so they don't have to fork out the hundreds of millions of dollars to do it anymore. And they do it all through lobbying and grants now, and that's hopefully going to change. And we can start having the NIH fund natural studies. So, I mean, we know what the cause of cancer is. The cause of cancer is a toxic internal environment and a toxic external environment. And that's what we're discussing, on how you can take back your own health and become healthy again, and not start relying on the government to do everything for you, or anybody else to do anything for you. The allopathic medicine, the psychiatry industry, the dermatological industry. Time to take back your own health, ladies and gentlemen. That's why MAHA is so important, and that's why we're continually focusing on, what we need to stop paying attention and stop spending a lot of time worrying about the government or waiting and waving the pom-poms of these little things that the government's doing. It's going to take a while to untangle this mess of tentacles that the government is in. Of course, we're going to support, any type of positive change, but it all comes down to what we believe is that, now is the time that God is telling you, listen, you need to start taking time out of your own schedule and start making your own self healthy again. And that's what we're focusing on, the root cause. Okay. It's not the symptomology anymore. It's like, unfortunately, because their biggest weapon that they've been using for 100 years is disinformation. I mean, they have convinced you through advertising, through TV, through magazines, through radio, through social media, through CNN, to create a state of fear to where people have become brainwashed to immediately run out and inject their babies with bioweapons and toxicity and poisons. They have convinced you to eat poisonous food. They've convinced you to drink poisonous water and other poisonous liquids like that are synthetic, energy drinks and toxic coffee and alcohol. And really the two biggest things we've been talking about is sugar and alcohol. You have a food addiction, which they've created. So in reality, they've convinced you to poison yourself. I mean, it's a really sick system, by the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the cultists of Asclepius, that, if you look at the depth of the programming, it's like, they're sitting behind in this little room going, let's just convince everybody to poison themselves and make themselves sick all the time. And then they'll rely on us. And that's, we have to change that mindset and re-educate people now that we have a window of opportunity with the umbrella of censorship that is lifting a little bit to where we can actually tell the truth. I mean, years ago, we even talked about vaccines. We talked about natural cancer stuff. The next day, we had black cars showing up at our office and harassing us. Now you look on social media and you're seeing everybody talk about this stuff. But talking about it is one thing. How much time are you actually spending creating your own healthy bubble within your home and cleaning your internal environment and making good decisions of taking the time and effort to this year and beyond raise your own consciousness and not relying. I think like this whole thing that we're going through right now is really a lesson for people, because when you get a symptom or you feel something that's wrong with you, what do you normally do? You have a high fever, you've been conditioned to run to the urgent care center, run to the doctor. Oh my gosh, I have a fever. My kid has a fever. So what? That's the natural way your body deals with it. We have to unlearn all of the things that we've been programmed for the last 60 years, really, with the introduction of TV, really in the 60s and 70s when everybody started getting TVs. And that's when the magazine craze started coming out and the newspaper, all the newspapers converting our mind into a state of fear of all these, especially related around health and food and agriculture. And, of course, the synthetic world started then as well. And now we have a whole new paradigm, which is the paradigm of everything is going to be patented. The food is going to be patented. The land is going to be owned by the big Bill Gates and all of these elites. And just it's all about control of the weather, control of the water, control of the air, control of everything, and have it connected.
The light.
They even say it in control of the light with the dimming of the sun. They even say it. The last thing that they want to control and patent is you. Mm-hmm. In Ray Kurzweil's book, listen to Klaus Schwab, Harari. That's the main goal is to eventually have everything under their control and controllable. But that's not going to happen because you don't have to let that happen. You can control what you put inside your body. You can control what goes out of your body through detoxifying your system, cleansing and healing the gut, cleansing and healing the liver on a regular basis, cleansing the parasites out of your body, which we now know yeast and mold and especially different types of fungus are rampant. And they're just going crazy in everybody, and it's affecting the liver's detoxification pathways. It's affecting everything. And cleansing the chemicals, heavy metals, and nanotech out of your system. And the reason why this is so important to continue talking about this transhumanism agenda is because we are in a new paradigm. Like all these years that we've been studying natural medicine and studying what Big Pharma's been doing, we've always been able to pull up documentation. Like, oh, let me look at this research study from 1960, or let me look at these natural healers from the 1800s, Kellogg and Arid in the 1930s and 40s. And we've been able to go back in time to pull up, what works and evaluate and do research on all these doctors, including the allopathic medicine. However, the paradigm that we're in now with the nanotechnology, which is you can't see it, feel it, hear it, taste it, smell it, there's no going back and saying, oh, can we pull up a study on how quantum dots affect the immune system? Can we go back and figure out and look at a study on how lipid nanoparticle technology affects the brain, affects the heart? We're starting from scratch right now because this is an electronic, a synthetic world that we've been in since COVID, especially since they injected everybody with these bioweapons. This is starting over. And we knew this at the Healing for the Ages. Brian brought us all together and it was like, hey, listen, we're in a new paradigm. He came out and started talking about venoms. This all comes into play with the snakes and even in ancient times when they were doing genetic modification of humans. And so this is like been the number one important focus for us to get out there. But it's not like we're putting a bunch of information out there. It's like, oh my gosh, yeah, your body's full of nanotech and you got lipid nanoparticle technology and the shedding and all this other stuff. It's going over people's heads. So how do you simplify that? You simplify that by giving people hope and encouragement for them to take responsibility for their own health again. And you do have the ability to not have to worry about changing into a cyborg, but you have to clean up your house, get rid of all the chemicals, get rid of all the poisons, and be able to clean the inside of your body on a regular basis so you don't have to succumb to what they're doing. You have the power to create your own bubble of health and happiness and cleanliness and detoxification in your own life. And that's what we're trying to teach people.
What did you teach people, Ealy? What I taught people is that, that EMFs work. EMFs work to mess you up. One of the things that was really astounding was, Michael, we got some new equipment. How many of us have been kind of like, something's not right about these LEDs? I think we've all kind of felt like, I remember as a kid, there were incandescent bulbs, right? Halogen bulbs. And there was a very warm kind of feeling in the neighborhoods. There was a warm kind of feeling when a car came up behind you. You didn't feel like you were getting blinded by the light coming off of their headlamps because you were like, it was no big deal. But I remember when these LED headlamps started coming out in vehicles that I would start getting angry at vehicles behind me because I thought that they had their brights on. But they didn't have their brights on. There was just, this is what's coming off the LED headlamp. So we went and got this very interesting device. It's a BN320, basically a spectrometer. It gives us a full reading when we point it at any light source, sun, moon, campfire, headlamp off of a vehicle. It tells us what different color spectra are coming off of that light source. So what we did in the event this past week in the Virtual Solution Summit was I had gone through and pointed it at the sun and said, let's start and see what color spectra are we supposed to be exposed to during the day. For example, like let's get a basis down there. And one of the things we saw was that you get every color spectra coming off the sun. You get violet and blue, and you get green and yellow, you get orange and you get red, you get all of it, which is great. You've probably heard people say, well, you'd want to go out in the morning and get your red light or in the evening and get your red light. And that's true. You get a much higher percentage of red light, but you're still getting blue, you're still getting violet, you're still getting these other ones, right? So what do we know is coming from the sunlight? All of the color spectra. You're getting the whole thing. It just kind of fluctuates throughout the day depending upon where the sun is on the horizon. Pretty neat. So what that does is it gives us an idea for if we're going to be under artificial lighting, Michael, what kind of exposure to light do we need? What color spectra is our body looking for? It's looking for all of them. But what do you see when you go inside and a person is under an LED light? And it was sold to us, like Dr. Roop talks about, because it was a convenience. It's going to save us money. That's how they sold it to us, right? You want this because it's going to save you money. Well, wait a minute. I don't know if I want that or not. And if I really want to have a choice, why did you try to outlaw incandescent bulbs? Why did you try to do that? Well, we actually took that same BN320 and found some incandescent bulbs at Dr. Ardis's house. He actually has some. And you see that there's this incredibly smooth color spectra on an incandescent bulb. No spikes. But when you hold that lighting, that color spectra, that spectrometer, when you hold it up against an LED, what do we see? We see huge spikes when we're talking about one color of light, and that color of light is blue. And what that takes me back to is something that we, the four of us, stumbled on in 2023. Dr. Ardis had found this, that cobra venom had been split into two different plasmids and injected into mice separately. When you injected the cobra venom separately, the cobra venom code separately, half of it in one mouse, half of it in another, nothing happened. But when you put those two plasmids together into one mouse, they recombined. And the mouse died within 6 hours. So we found that. Well, one of the things that we stumbled upon in looking at that research was how they activate these plasmids. And one of the ways they activate these plasmids is with blue light. Now, you might out there think to yourself, well, it's just a coincidence that the blue light is spiking coming off of computer screens, and the blue light is spiking coming off of the phones, and the blue light is spiking come off of headlamps, and the blue light is spiking coming off of LEDs in the home and outside of. You might think that that's just a coincidence. I don't. Because when you start getting into the world of optogenetics, and this is something everybody can go look up. I found a couple of studies on there. You see which specific color of light they utilize to activate the work that they do. And that color of light is always blue. Now, what gets interesting about this, and we teach about this over the weekend, and again, among other things, like I actually take people through my bathroom with a UV light, Michael, and show them before we use any cleaner, before we use any food grade hydrogen peroxide diluted, to clean it, before we use a non-cancer causing cleaner, right? Because those are abundant, whether we're talking about, the borax, or we're talking about citric acid, or we're talking about, a little baking soda, or whether we're talking about the hydrogen peroxide. There are so many non-toxic cleaners that also are cheaper, that you save money on. And so what me and my son did was we filmed the UV light in the bathroom, and you look and you're like, whoa, that's pretty nasty. Jackson Pollock's got nothing on my bathroom, let me tell you, okay? And then you go ahead and you spray the little solution of some diluted distilled water with the hydrogen peroxide. Let it sit for a minute, and then just wipe it up, and it's all gone. And you take the UV light, and it's all clean. It's like, these are simple solutions. So we show people do that. You don't need Tilex. You don't need Comet. You don't need these things that we know are going to cause cancer. You don't need to spray that all in your environment and everything like that. So we covered that as well. But the thing that really fascinated me was the light, because I didn't realize that the LEDs in our homes were spiking blue light. But as soon as I realize they're spiking blue light, and I go back to our previous research, and then I find literally hundreds of research papers going on showing that what's the color spectra they're using to activate their genetic engineering? Blue light. Now it starts attacking this notion that it's just a coincidence, that there's blue light spikes coming off of your computer screen, blue light spikes coming off of your phone, blue light spikes coming off of headlamps for new vehicles, blue light spikes coming off of your lighting in your home. This is just some magical accident. It's preposterous that it's an accident. So what we want to do with all of this is we want to take people through a journey of saying, look, this is what's going on in your home, but here's what you can do about it. So what we're doing next, and this was the only sad part for me on the presentation, Michael, was that I had ordered, maybe like 40 or 50 different bulbs, from some incandescents and things. Like, let's test them. We want to be able to test them. We have the device. We can test them in seconds now. So what does that look like? What's coming off of these light bulbs? Well, those light bulbs didn't arrive, and actually they have not arrived yet. So when I got back home, so now I got to call out to the company and be like, yo, where are my light bulbs at? But the whole thing for us is now we have to find the light bulbs for people for their homes, and saying like, look, the LEDs, you can, I believe in freedom. You can use them if you want. But there is no reality where I'm going to be using LEDs moving forward, knowing what I know now, that they're spiking the blue light. And here's why. Let's give it away right now. What blue light does for us is blue light is available for us in the full color spectrum of the sun. It's available for us because it stimulates our autonomic nervous system. It stimulates specifically the sympathetic fight or flight portion, but it does so gently when it's in balance with all the other colors. When it's just a spike of blue, it's going to be like a shock to the nervous system. And there are studies that I found that show this, that when you hit the body with blue light, it produces a lot of cortisol. Well, cortisol is the end hormone from the fight or flight nervous system being turned on. Okay, for those people that want to go back, they can go back to Hans CA, The Stresses of Life, and we've known this for a long time. Okay, so they know this. They know, they're so good at what they do that they know which specific color spectra of light activates our nervous system, and not for the better. Because what we're designed to do is be exposed to blue light during the day, Michael. And then it goes away as the sun sets. And now red light, especially if we're around a campfire or something like that, when our eyes calm down, red light engages our parasympathetic rest and digest nervous system. It helps us set our circadian rhythms. And this is how it's been for thousands of years for humanity. Sunlight during the day, campfire at night. And that campfire sets us up for a great sleep. And what happens when we sleep? Our body heals itself. But if we can't get into a good sleep at night, now the body can't heal. So, Michael, CDC, 50 to 80 million Americans report some significant sleep disturbance on a regular basis. 50 to 80 million. Now, that's not very exact, CDC, to tell you the truth, but that's a huge number. Of those people, 83% report depression in to some degree as well. And this is that correlation between I can't get a good night's sleep and I don't feel good the next day. And each day that goes on, it gets worse and worse. Well, what's going to help you get into that bad circadian rhythm? Getting exposed to blue light spikes when you're driving, when you're on your computer at night, when you're on your phone at night, when you're just sitting in your home because you wanted to save a few pennies that you don't really save with your LEDs. So we got to change this. And this goes in alignment with everything that we've taught so far at Healing for the Ages. Because what's number one? We taught you about cleaning your water. What's number two? We taught you about the importance of earthing and grounding with what's going on with the 5G towers and technology. And now what's number three? We're teaching you about the importance of your light sources so that you can make sure you are getting into the best circadian rhythm at night. So when you go and get in that bedroom after you've had that chemical-free shower in the bathroom from courtesy of Dr. Ardis, and you've eaten all those wonderful foods and not put anything in the microwave courtesy of Dr. Jana Schmidt, when you go to lay down in that bedroom that Dr. Group put together, now, because you've exposed yourself to the right color spectra of light all night long, you're ready to lay down, get into a deep REM sleep, and allow your cells to do what they are designed to do, to truly heal and undo this genetic transhumanistic nonsense that they're trying to upload into your genome. You see, we can't overlook these subtle little things like toilet paper. I'm going to send a toilet paper to Maria, too. I'm going to say I use Who Gives a Crap. I've actually purchased mine, and they ship it to me. So it's not in Target, but I'm like, I want to know. I don't want to nanobot my butt. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not doing all that stuff. So we can't overlook the toilet paper, and we can't overlook the lighting. It's all part of their really nefarious plan, and we are going to show you how to disable all of it at Healing for the Ages.
Wow, that's fantastic. So I know that, staring at, you see people, they stare at the firelight and they go into they get mesmerized by it. They go into that alpha brainwave state. Same thing with candles. I teach, meditative states, staring at candles and so forth. So yeah, the light obviously affects you, and they have found a frequency like you were talking about that makes you angry because they want us in fear and anger all the time. So brilliant work. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, well, they're doing it with the 5G frequency. They're doing it with the light spectra, color spectra, and this is where what gets exciting about the work that we're doing is the solutions that we're able to provide, based upon it and feel it. But what is so crazy to me is if you would have told me that there was anybody that was this far along, even just 5-10 years ago, I would have laughed at you. I'd have been like, you're in some sci-fi world or something like that. Turns out that they've been telling us all along what they're doing in the sci-fi world. And so I go back and watch these movies now and I can't even enjoy them anymore. I used to get lost in the fantasy of it, right? It ain't fantasy, y'all. They're doing some crazy-ish and we got to be aware of what's going on.
I know. And Dr. Group's always talking about, they're transgendering us or transhumanizing us, same thing. But it's like, it was like sci-fi, like you're talking about, 5, 6, 7 years ago. I had people on talking about, this transhumanism stuff, and I was like, yeah, okay, maybe. But now we're seeing it. I mean, you guys are cutting edge. I mean, the synergy with your group is really, catapulting you, I think, into, reveals that most people can't even comprehend. So that's why I love to have you guys on so you can reveal this stuff. So, Dr. Ardis, what else you got?
Well, I actually put in the private chat of this software we're on right now. I put in the private chat, Biden decided in August of 2023 to ban incandescent light bulbs in America. And I just put an article up there for you to reference. Why would they do this? Now, I would like to ask everybody at home. I would like to ask Dr. Ed Group, Dr. Henry Ealy, and you, young man. Have you ever read studies of the health dangers of incandescent light bulbs? Then I'd like to ask you, why did the government decide, and why did the President of the United States decide it's time to officially start restricting access to humans in America from buying what I thought Thomas Edison created years and years and years. Was it him?
Yep.
Was it Thomas Edison? Incandescent light bulbs? All right. He should be rolling over in his grave. He created something we've all been using our whole life, and now all of a sudden, I've never read anything dangerous about incandescent light bulbs. Why in the world are those illegal now? Other than the fact that everything now has to be LEDs as of September of 2023. I mean, they're just banning this stuff. But this all started in 2007, if you read the articles. This all started in 2007. They've been building up to this moment that they were going to ban incandescent light bulbs. And you should ask yourself, what is the worry with incandescent light bulbs? The moment they went to these weird, circular bulbs that were filled with mercury, what do they call those bulbs? Those little, they looked fancy.
The compact fluorescent CFLs.
Yeah, CFLs, there you go. The ones that are loaded with mercury poisoning. And when you read, literally, if one breaks, have you read what the EPA tells you have to do if one of those in your home breaks? You have to evacuate the home for 48 hours before you can re-enter. That's how toxic those non-incandescent light bulbs were when they came out with those little swirly-looking cool light bulbs. I never heard anything that was wrong with the incandescent light bulbs. I've never learned anything. Why do we have to ban access to something that provided light to us for our whole lives? Why all of a sudden is that dangerous? And why are we now selecting new LED lights that have radio frequency antennas in them that allow them to be changed? And if you don't believe me, go to Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever, pick up the box of your LED light bulb you're about to buy and read on it the FCC warning that there's an antenna in there where radio frequencies can change and alter the wavelengths of light that's emitted by your LED light bulb. Okay, why do they need to have access to your light bulbs? Why does anybody need to have access to your light bulbs? I mean, do we need Wi-Fi connected candles, Michael?
The new smart home, everything has to be connected to the smart meter. I mean, who came up with that word smart? I mean, let's just call it what it really is. According to DARPA and the dark operations, it's just directed energy weapons. That's really what it is. How can we direct energy into you, into your home, through your washing machine, through your light bulbs, through anything that's connected to the smart grid, and then have everybody connected? Because the smart meters, they can connect homes to each other, so they can actually monitor exactly what you're doing, how you're doing it, and you think your life is easier when it's actually you're being bombarded more with different types of frequencies, and actually it gets into the medical band area network and the wide body area network, and how they can connect even to your biofield, because you are an antenna, you are electricity, which is not being talked about, but really it's about connecting you to the grid, connecting you to the smart home, and connecting you to the smart city.
And how are they going to do that? They're spraying in the skies. Michael, we've been doing experiments. We're going to be releasing those at the annual fall conference, which opens up later today for people to start signing up for. We're going to be releasing the results of that. We've been working really hard on how to get things like, and especially aluminum, out of the body using combination of nutraceuticals and sweating. Infrared sauna to do that. We've already proven that we can get aluminum out with that, but now we're trying to take it up to that next level for everybody. But, the reality is, if they're putting nanometals, quantum dots, into the skies, and those are the cloud condensation nuclei that create the homogeneous clouds, the man-made clouds and everything, then you're going to start seeing those fall out. And of course, when it's rain, you'll see they'll just come down with the rain. But you see that coming down, and now you see farmers doing the whole soil sample and saying, well, why is there so much aluminum in my soil? Why aren't my crops growing? Well, it's because you have more aluminum than you have copper in your soil. It's not rocket science. You know what I mean? And now what the aluminum does is it stunts root growth. And now when you're talking about cropping, and you're talking about, stunning root growth, what are you talking about? Food scarcity. And now they can say that this is all because of climate change and fossil fuels and all whatever stupid lie that they want to make up, when it's because of climate change. You're changing the climate. You are spraying nanometals all over the place, and you're very open about it. Bill Gates is saying, we need 12,000 tons of, is that what he said? Something ridiculous like that, of heavy metals in the sky. Like, why are you listening to someone with Asperger's who has no empathy whatsoever? Why are you listening to this man at all? You know what I mean? But we're in this situation now where when you see that stuff, the sky fall coming down, or it's raining, either one, you start breathing that in. And when you start breathing that in, they're already telling you that they know how to manipulate things based upon frequencies. They're turning your body into a specific antenna for the Internet of Things, or the Internet of biological things, whatever terminology you want to use. That you will be connected 24/7, whether it's through a neural link, whether it's through just frequency, and that you have this stuff in your body. Like, they are making sure that this is going down. And if millions and tens of millions and hundreds of millions, if not billions, die in the process of this transformation, so what? We got to get down to Agenda 2075 anyway. I mean, are we going to start having these conversations? You have psychopaths with a lot of money saying that they want you dead. Are we going to have this conversation? Are we going to start talking about this as a people, that maybe we want to say no to that? And
I want to talk about it.
Because I'm with you, Dr. Ardis. I'm like, is this taboo? Oh, no, that's a conspiracy theory. What's the difference between a conspiracy theory and a conspiracy fact? A couple weeks.
You know how profitable it is to kill people? Look at what palliative care and hospice care bring in each year.
Exactly.
There's a lot of money in killing people slowly.
Hey, can we talk about this real quick?
Comfortably.
Can we talk about this nonsense yesterday real quick? We haven't gotten into this. Can we do this nonsense yesterday? That healthy children and healthy expecting moms are exempt from these shots now? Can we talk about this?
Yeah, that's good. I talked about this yesterday. Yeah, definitely. Go ahead.
Okay.
Well, this is new to me. I don't know.
So RFK Jr., J-Bat, and Marty all came on, and they did this really weird synchronized video that like was like, hey, if you're a healthy kid or you're a healthy expecting mom, we are removing the recommendations for the COVID shots. Right now, what they didn't say in that video is the week before, on the 22nd, they approved the formulation for the fall batch of the COVID mRNA shots. All right, so you're talking out of your mouth this way and out of this way. This is not making any sense. But they said, if you're healthy, you don't have to get these shots. Okay, hold on. Who gets to define what healthy is, number one? And number two, there is no list, there is no separate list of recommended vaccines for healthy people. That has never existed. You just removed a recommendation from a list that does not exist. All right, number one. Now, when you start looking at this is what gets me, Michael. I don't know, because everybody started celebrating like we had won something. And I'm like, listen, you know what? You know what's going to happen in the fall? Any kid that's in California or New York or any place where it's mandated that you have to have every damn shot before you can go into school is still going to have to get these shots, whether they are healthy or not, whatever that means. So it didn't do anything. But my curiosity is the psychology of people. Why did anyone think that this was a major move? If there's no legal action, if it was a major move, what would have happened? The pharmaceutical industry would have filed immediate lawsuits against that, right? We would be in court immediately. If you're not seeing any court action being taken place, then that means that this is a big nothing burger. But I'm really curious to hear what Dr. Group, what you felt about that, Michael, what you felt about that, Brian, I can't wait to hear what you're going to say about.
I got something to say.
But this is nonsense, what's going on. So
I've got something to say about that, because right after that, I don't know if you guys have been following this, but within hours of that, we all of a sudden had everywhere on CNN, CBS News, the new contagious COVID-19 variant, NB 1.8.1, that just mysteriously came out of nowhere. And in the midst of the vaccine crackdown by the government. So even though it wasn't even a crackdown because of the healthy thing, if you're healthy, I agree with you. I mean, I think this is just ridiculous. Why are we still even talking about COVID? I mean, that whole thing was 5 years ago. I mean, why are people still wearing masks?
Yeah.
Like the whole thing was just a pandemic, and the whole thing doesn't even, necessarily, no one's even defined what the true cause is anyway, which is the whole purpose was to get everybody injected with bioweapons. And now all of a sudden, a day later, hours after they come out with that talk at the administration, we all of a sudden have a new NB 1.8.1 variant that's now the dangerous variant that's sweeping California and is right in the middle of the counterattack of the announcement by RFK and the new administration. I mean, this is just ridiculous. This is why people need to stop paying attention to what everything that's going on and focusing on their own health and start focusing on building their own immune system and start detoxifying their bodies and reactivating their body's own self-healing mechanism. This is gonna go on and on and on and on. So stop paying attention to all this crap. Stop watching social media. Start taking responsibility for your own health, your own child's health. When you learn and you educate yourself, you will find out really fast that you do not need to go get an injection or a bioweapon. Now we have all this saMRNA and all the people that are, the doctors, and I'm on all these chats, and look, we're trying to help out as much as possible. But it's a revolving disinformation wheel that keeps going around, trying to take our attention and trying to bring our attention outside of ourselves instead of the main focus of this is just going to continue, and it's going to create fear, it's going to create anger, it's going to create division, which we're already seeing amongst us. The administration, we're getting lots of division happening. The fact of the matter is the transhumanism agenda is still going full blown. Okay, there's not been anything that has led us to believe, even with the bills that are being passed in states to stop the geoengineering and the chemtrails, that still doesn't really necessarily happen at the federal level. Look, we have to stop putting all of our time and effort into watching what's happening with the new administration and just hoping and praying that there's just a miracle that's going to happen, and all these chemicals and all these vaccines and all this stuff is just going to stop overnight. I'm sorry, but Big Pharma moved all their lobbyists up to Washington. Big Pharma is putting billions and trillions into the lobbying right now with everybody in the new administration. This is not going to go away anytime soon, okay? What you have the power to do is make a decision right now. You can do it. It only takes a nanosecond to make a decision. To avoid and to clean up your internal environment and clean up your life. I mean, the fact that every single day you're seeing synthetic, genetically modified yeast being developed by biotech companies using weapons. You're seeing, well, Big Pharma switched over to biotech. Did anyone even notice that? Like 4 or 5 years ago, like who they don't even call themselves Big Pharma anymore. It's all biotech. What is biotech? Biological technology, okay? Creating a synthetic biology. It's not even pharma anymore. Now you have self-assembling mRNA technology. You have synthetic compounds of DNA, venoms, magnetic warfare, electromagnetic warfare, directed internal body-directed energy weapons that are being created through lipid nanoparticle technology, polymer creation, mesogen technology. You have the chemtrails, you have the microplastics, all these things work together. You have the inorganic mineral consumption that people are putting in their body, the amount of metals, the graphene oxide, the hydroxides, the polyethylene glycols, the hydrogels, all of this stuff, the synthetic red blood cells. You don't have to understand all this. You don't have to let us work on that. You don't have to understand the transhumanism agenda. Right now, the best use of your time, because the only thing that you have in your life is time and decisions. If you just want to simplify your life, your whole life revolves around time and decisions. The time that you have every single day to take care of yourself, clean up your house, clean up your environment, and what is that based on? Decisions. Oh, I'm going to make a decision to learn about how I can detoxify my internal environment. I'm going to make better decisions of what I'm putting in my body, what I'm drinking, what I'm eating, what I'm lathering on my skin, who the type of people I'm hanging out with are, the amount of time I'm spending on social media, the amount of time I'm spending watching stupid shows on TV for 4 hours a day. It's time that you evaluate the time that you have in your life and start spending more time creating that bubble of health and happiness that you can and detoxifying. So you don't even have to worry about what's happening today on social media with the new administration, what's happening over there. It's just going to be an attention grabber. It's just a waste of your time right now. We need to focus on what can I do in my life? How motivated am I right now to change my life? Because you have the power within to reactivate your body's own self-healing mechanism. How much do you love your life right now? I mean, most of the people, even the doctors that are on all these chats, I'm watching them. I mean, they're spending all day going back and forth, talking and talking and talking. You know, all these good doctors, all these good activists, all the people, why are they not focused on helping the masses? Why are we not seeing messages about, if everybody refuses the mRNA or the cancer, vaccine or whatever, then they fail. If everybody refuses to go out and buy glyphosate and atrazine, then those companies go under. Now we have the opportunity to use information as our biggest weapon, which it's truth. It's not even a weapon. It's what God wants us to do. This is just a time that we're going through right now in humanity where we're shifting to a next level of consciousness, a higher vibration of the planet. And God wants us all to really take a look at ourselves. not to keep spending time like we've been doing for the last 60 years, trying to follow everybody else and what Big Pharma is doing, and the next cancer cure, the next this, the next that. No, get back to the simplicity of nature, getting good sleep, going outside in nature, creating an environment in your home that's healthy and happy, working on yourself, spending more time in meditation, spending more time in prayer, doing emotional release, cleaning the liver, cleaning the parasites out of your body. This is just going back to the basics of you taking responsibility for your own health. Do you realize that the majority of people right now, and I've been talking about how we as healers need to step up to the next vibrational level as well. Realize that most of the healers you see out there at the cancer conventions, the chiropractic conventions, the acupuncture conventions, I'm calling you out. You need to start making your own self healthy again. Mm-hmm. I look around and I see 90% of the healers that are out there teaching people how to heal themselves that are 20, 30, 150, 200 pounds overweight, that are unhealthy. What's going on right now? I mean, we need healers that are actually healthy, that can actually, teach people, because it's not about symptomology anymore. It's about reactivating the body's self-healing mechanism, and people following really good, which the true definition of a doctor anyway is a teacher, following a good teacher and learning. It's time that you have to learn about how you can repair and reactivate your body's self-healing mechanism. And when you do that, there is no fear. You don't even need to spend time looking at all that other stuff, because you trust in yourself. You trust in God. You have faith and hope, and you have no fear, because you understand that your body is the most powerful healing mechanism on the planet. Your God-given body is the most healing. And it just amazes me when I talk to people, they get up in the morning, they look in the mirror, and they just sit there and say, oh, I'm fat, I'm not happy with myself, I'm not happy with my life, my job sucks, and they just complain all day long. Mm-hmm. It's time, if you're going to every time there is a great transformation, everybody that heals naturally goes through a transformation, because their body gives them a symptom, whether it's cancer, heart disease, whatever. They find a great doctor like Dr. Ealy, Dr. Schmidt, Dr. Ardis. There's many, many great healers out there. They find somebody to teach them. They go through a transformation, and that anytime you're going through a transformation, you're going to go through some pain. You're going to go through some trauma. You're going to go through some chaos. You're going to go through the process of transformation. The process of transformation is not necessarily always an easy process. Why do you think your body gives you symptoms? Because your body says, hello, listen to me. Something's wrong. I want you to learn from this. I need you to pay attention to me. I want you to find somebody that can teach you, or learn yourself, of how you can transform your body from a dis-ease body to a healthy body. All we're going through right now with humanity is a transformation. And the transformation is either going to be, you're going to go with the flow and you're going to transform into a cyborg, because you're going to listen to what everybody, all these evil people are doing, and you're going to still focus your attention and your consciousness outside of yourself, or you're going to pull it back in and focus your consciousness and the love that you deserve for yourself back, and you're going to learn from somebody and teach, and you're going to go through the higher level of transformation. You can transform to a lower level, or you can transform to a higher level. The world and the energy is forcing us right now to transform. Mm-hmm. What path are you going to choose? That's the question. Mm-hmm. Now is the time. You're either going to become a cyborg, or you're going to be the next level healer of light. And what do you think enlightenment is? Enlightenment is carrying the light and the energy of love within your body. Mm-hmm. Now is the time. You choose. Which way are you going to go?
Amen, Dr. Group.
There you go. That's it.
How you feel about that, Dr. Group?
I feel awesome, because I know I'm transforming, and that's the mission that I'm choosing for myself. But if you're relying on anybody else outside, to do it for you, it's not going to happen. That's why you have to go to Healing for the Ages, and you have to watch the first seminar that we put on. you have to watch the second one, and you have to watch the virtual solutions, because our mission is to teach you exactly that, how to transform to the next level of consciousness and enlightenment through cleaning your external and your internal environment.
Amen to that.
What's the best way to do that, Dr. Group? Join the Aegis family, or
Join the family, but really it's just the first thing is always the decision to make in your life that you want to do that. You know what I mean? Like, you have to analyze your life, okay? Because life has to be balanced, and you have to look at the time. You have to, how much time are you spending on yourself? See, part of this whole plan that they've got us into is to take you away and to distract you from spending time away. They want to make the decisions for you on what you eat. They want to make the decisions for you on what you do if you start feeling bad. They want to make the decisions for you for your education of your kids and the education of you. Everything around your life has been designed for them to be able to make the decisions and to take you away from yourself, because they know when you empower yourself, you are more powerful than them. And spiritually, I'm talking about physically, and I'm talking about mentally. They want to distract your mind constantly. They want to distract you from growing spiritually. They want to distract you from being physically healthy. And so the first thing that you need to do, and since it only takes a nanosecond to make a decision, is decide to take your life back, to be empowered with yourself. And if you understand that the root cause of everything that's happening in your life is nothing more than poisons. Poisonous TV, poisonous thoughts, poisonous people, poisonous information, poisonous chemicals, poisonous everything. Everything comes back to poisons, and poisons is just something that's going to not resonate with God inside your system, that's synthetic, made by man, that's going to lower your vibrational frequencies. When you understand the simplicity of that, your whole life really revolves around toxic or non-toxic. You know, even the words that come out of your mouth, what you hear, what you feel, what you seek, and then what's the opposite of poison? It's just detoxifying your life. You're just avoiding the amount of chemicals and poisons and information that's coming into your system, that's affecting your biofield, that's affecting all your organs, especially your liver, and you're just starting to clean. The first step is cleanliness. Why do you think in all religious texts they talk about cleansing the temple, becoming pure, feeling the vibrations? That's why they fasted for 40 days, and they did things always to go cleanse their body. So the first step is to just learn from us how to, if I was to pick one thing, it would be the parasites. You know, it's really cleansing the gut, you know, healing the gut, cleansing the liver multiple times, because the livers are just taking a beating right now. There's so much fungus and yeast in the liver, because where does alcohol get processed? Where does sugar get processed? On the liver. So everybody's yeast is, and what does yeast produce? Yeast feeds on sugar, and yeast produces alcohol. We found out, you know, we've all, as practitioners, known the damage of parasites in the body, but when we got the information, the Department of Energy has created over 400,000 pathogens, and they've used brewer's yeast to do that, and brewer's yeast is in all the bread, and we now have evidence that the brewer's yeast is being modified, as well as different, P. pasteurs, but mostly brewer's yeast, as well as E. coli, which Dr. Ardis we've all been talking about. You know, this is the reason of like going to the root cause. When you see all the other doctors out there still, I mean, I'm still getting emails like, oh, we just found the solution to the spike protein. And it's like, I'm like, we've already had that since 2020. Like, you know, and why are you focusing on the spike protein? Like, why are you not asking the question, what is producing the spike protein? Like, do you want people on these things to attack the spike protein forever? Or why don't you listen to people like us, where we're like, okay, well, we're asking the question, what is producing the spike protein? Well, what's producing the spike protein is the genetically modified yeast and E. coli that you have within your body. So parasites are synthetic now, by the way. I mean, the majority of the stuff that we're dealing with is synthetic parasites, mostly yeast and bacteria. Those are the two things that are very easy to genetically modify. We have evidence now that they're using genetically modified yeast to produce synthetic red blood cells, okay? Genetically modified yeast to produce all of the different types of venoms that we're finding. Genetically modified yeast that are producing styrene in the body. Genetically modified yeast that are producing polyethylene glycol in the body. Genetically modified yeast that are producing spider silks in the body. Different types of fibers. Let's talk about Morgellons. I think that was a big experiment that ended up getting out with genetically modified yeast producing all these weird looking fibers in the body. So it starts with addressing the root cause. The symptomology of like, okay, let's just give you something for this symptom. No, we got to figure out where it's coming from and how we can get rid of it. So it's not hard. You're just getting rid of the parasites using different types of anti-parasiticals, cleaning them out of the body. You're reducing or eliminating sugar. You're reducing or eliminating alcohol. You're cleaning up your system and just really saying, is this drink going to be toxic to me, or is it going to raise my vibrational frequency and going to be good for me? Now, because people are addicted to practically everything poisonous out there, this has to be a slow process. It doesn't need to be overwhelming. Go by the 80-20 rule. I mean, the 80-20 rule is, eat healthy and do these things 80% of the time and leave 20% open for that pizza if you want it, or whatever, that one drink a week or whatever that you want. Taking away everything from people is not, we've all known, is not, the best way to go at, changing people's life. It has to be an educational process. It has to be a slow process of people just, even if you give up sugar, that's a big deal. Replace the table salt with Himalayan crystal salt. It's baby steps. It's going up that ladder of health. At least every single day, you're doing something better and better and better and better. Instead of buying, that $1,000 pair of shoes, Jimmy Choo shoes this month, you're going to get grounding sheets and you're going to get an air purifier for your house. Instead of going on that, trip with the guys, that golf trip with the guys and spending $2,500, you're going to get something, some EMF protection devices for your home, or you're going to get some clothing, or you're going to do something good. So we just have to shift our mindset back to like, let's focus on us, living and breathing and being the type of humans that we're supposed to be, which are God-loving, peaceful humans, which have no ego and have no judgment and have no anger and have no fear, and live in a world of hope and peace and joy and love, to where we're all, non-cyborg humans, but we're going back towards God's creation and what God would want us to be, which is a high vibration, enlightened being.
Very nice. And Dr. Ardis, you want to talk about the vaccination vice no vaccination for healthy people?
Yeah, when Ealy brought up the thing from yesterday that I did not see amidst my Memorial Day stuff. Actually, yesterday was a bunch of interviews on Tuesday. Sorry. All right, so this recommendation that healthy people don't have to get the vaccines, I just like everybody to realize, if you go look at the package insert for every single vaccine that's on the CDC schedule your entire life, do you know what it says? It says you can't give it to someone who is sick.
Yep.
Okay, well, that means you can only give it to healthy people. So now they're going to tell you healthy people don't have to get them. So now you're only going to give them to sick people? And then how do you define what is sick? Okay, you're sick. All right, so they tell you if you're actively sick, you're not supposed to receive a vaccine while sick. Okay, well, what do you at home think a sick person looks like? I would imagine you think they have a fever, a cough, some kind of inflammation in their body. That's the exact person every CDC package insert for every vaccine ever made says you cannot give the vaccine to. So what is the definition of a healthy person? Can I tell you how many people have come to me and said, my cardiologist did an evaluation on my heart and I'm completely healthy. They say I have the heart of a 35-year-old. I'm not joking. These people are actually 400 and 500 pounds. And they're telling me their cardiologist told them that they have a healthy heart of a 30-year-old. There's no way. What are you going to do? Determine that's a healthy person? They should get the vaccine? It's weird. How are you defining what healthy is? I'd like to know. What is the definition of healthy and what is sick? Because it's this polar opposite of what it is that is published when and when not to vaccinate someone with the current vaccines. And just to know, my very first thought when Ealy brought that up, I was like, wait a minute. I was so excited about this new Ardis measles mRNA vaccine that was being fast-tracked. I couldn't wait to sign up for the new RFK Jr. Excited about Ardis. I was most excited that it sounded almost like my name, Ardis. Ardis. I think they almost named it after me. But the name is a little bit misspelled. It's ARDIS, not ARCTURUS. Anyway, Ardis. Ignore the Ardis vaccines. Ignore the mRNA vaccines. Ignore the vaccines for cancer now that are AI generated. Thank you, Larry Ellison. We don't want it. We don't need it. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. I do not believe a computer can figure out how to make my immune system beat a cancer when in fact the body knows how to do it all by itself. Just stop poisoning the bone marrow of the human body, which makes your T cells, your B cells, all of those cells God put inside of you to destroy all cancer cells in the body from the time you were born. If you just stop poisoning the human body and listen to Dr. Ed Group since he was born, all health and illness is dictated by internal environment, external environment, based on the health or the toxicity of both. And join us for Healing for the Ages. Ignore the golf trip. Ignore going to Applebee's tonight. Take that $69 and go get the replays for the Make Your Home Healthy Again. Go do it. Go get it. You might learn something that will benefit you, and I promise you're going to save a ton of money if you just got the information we gave you, because your deductibles for all of your future annual problems medically get really expensive, just so you know. If you want to keep dumping money there in your prescription, your copays, go ahead. And then watch how expensive your Medicare plan is that you've been donating to your entire working life once you're prescribed drugs for the rest of your life because you decided to go on that golf trip or go to Applebee's instead of getting your Make Your Home Healthy Again presentation. We just gave you 8 hours worth of guidance. I mean, seriously, Dr. Group and I just learned recently about toilet paper. I mean, if you want to continue wiping your butt with stuff that leads to anal cancer, and that's your future for you that you want to sit on a little donut ring like you have hemorrhoids one day, and you want anal cancer, I will show you which brands have the chemicals that are known to give you anal cancer. If you're sitting at home going, oh my God, I just came across a Facebook group that had tens of thousands of people of it this weekend, and it was the anal cancer support group, and you wanted to join it, ignore the Make Your Home Healthy Again presentations we just did on Saturday. Don't get it. Don't get it. Keep buying the 21 most common brands that have 6 combined cancer-causing chemicals and keep wiping your genitals and your anus with it. And please don't contact me later going, you know what, I never actually got that. I heard about it, but now I've got the cancer, and this donut I'm sitting on is not relieving my anal tumor pain. What can I do now? I'm really sorry. It might be a little bit late for you. You might want to know what those things are. Oh, and did you know, I find this amazing. We talked a little bit about the agriculture. I'm not going to talk too long. We've been here long enough. I'm sure all of you are bored to death at home. All right. So agriculture. Did you know, I actually showed in my presentation this weekend, you might want to know what's in your cosmetics and what's in your pickles and what's inside your toilet paper and what's inside your makeup, what's inside your eyeliner. I take you through all of it. Everything, soaps, conditioners, shampoos. I take you through everything in your bathroom. And the chemicals that are in there that they know, I'm not even joking, guys, they are known obesogen chemicals. And by definition, the scientific term obesogen means it makes a human fat and it keeps them fat. Okay, now I need you to understand this. I show you the 50 chemicals in your pickles. I'm not joking. In your pickle jar. I'm not joking. I take you through 3 of the most common brands of pickles, and it has this chemical they know is an obesogen that makes a human being fat and keeps them fat, as published by Science and Big Pharma. Then I take you through all the cosmetics that have these ingredients inside of them, and you should know what they are. Lotions, creams, cleansers, you name it, soaps, shampoos, conditioners, shaving cream, toothpaste. I show you all of them. You should know what these things are because Oprah Winfrey came out and was paid to lie to you last year that science and medicine has determined that obesity is not your fault. It is all genetic, and you need Ozempic and Wegovy to help you lose weight. You need to inject yourself with Gila Monster Venom called Ozempic and Wegovy to lose weight. That's why you're fat. There's nothing you can do about it. All of your fat is caused by genes that you inherited from mom and dad. When in fact, your pickles, your toilet paper, your cosmetics have known chemicals that make you fat, keep you fat, so that you can pay out of pocket $1,000 a month for life to inject yourself with venom that'll paralyze your digestive tract to help you lose weight. And pay people like Oprah Winfrey to drop their stocks in Weight Watchers that they had for years. And we're going to pay you a bigger lump sum to tell the whole world we know that genetics is the cause for all obesity. Sorry, Oprah, you were effing wrong to lie to everybody in the entire world.
Yeah, well, she back China, God, that should have been a big red flag right there. So, but some people still go with her.
I mean, is she? I mean, I think she's telling the truth
to deceive everybody around the world.
But wait a minute. I mean, they're using chemicals to influence genetic expression, right? I mean, they're technically kind of telling you the truth, right? They're just not telling you the whole truth. It's just like the same climate change thing going on. It's climate change. They're not telling you it's man-made.
Oh, I'm telling you, they call them obesogens, these chemicals that make you fat, and then they're going to blame it on genetics, and that these chemicals have an impact on your genetics. They simply put the chemicals in your body. You're going to store fat. That's what I'm saying. That's about your genes. It's just making you fat. In fact, arsenic, I could really produce an entire presentation about how arsenic actually isn't a deadly toxin poison, and it's more of a relaxant on your nervous system than anything. I could do that. I could totally do that. But it should be used as a relaxer at night to help you sleep better, because it will induce you into a deeper level of sleep by paralyzing your respiration and your heart's ability to beat. I can convince you of that. The truth is, arsenic at a certain level stops your heart and kills you. That's it. That's it. I don't care about the genetic crap. Don't worry about it. Just so you know, it ain't true. Just let it go. The whole gene thing is a great way of keeping you convinced that you're never going to figure out what's wrong with you, and you need some authority figure to tell you what to take to handle it, because there's nothing you can do about it. You inherited this crap. And the inheritance that you have is being influenced by chemicals. The chemicals mixed with your genes are obesogens. No. They know these damn chemicals make you fat and keep you fat, and then they're going to tell you it's all genetic.
Mm-hmm. And they have a nice way of sticking in those adipose fat tissues as well. They just kind of hang out there for slow release. Hey,
hold up. I have to say something here.
Yeah.
Okay, all of you out there, you know, and you've heard the stories of young people in their 20s or in high school who their medical doctor is telling the parents and the kid, we should do a genetic testing to see if this girl has BRCA1 or BRCA2 genes they inherited that could possibly mean they have breast cancer sometime in their long future, 30, 40 years from now. And if it comes back positive, we're going to convince the parents and the kid to let them cut their breast off right now as a preventative for breast cancer. I show everybody in my presentation from Saturday what the medical researchers publish about breast cancer, and I quote, 90% of all breast cancers are caused by environmental toxins. Let me repeat. 90% of all breast cancers are causally, they say, caused by, directly by toxins in your external environment that end up in your internal environment, not BRCA1, BRCA2 genes, which is the rest of the sentence. So I'd like to know why all of you on TikTok know about BRCA1, BRCA2 gene and are celebrating celebrities that are having their boobs cut off at 18, 19, 20, 21 years old. This is ridiculous. You're just feeding an industry that's profiting off of your mutilation and lying to you about genetics. And those chemicals I just mentioned that are obesogens, that are also in your pickle jars, they are in the list of the chemicals in the research study. They know 90% of all breast cancers are caused by. I even take you into the studies and highlight the ingredient in your cosmetics and point you to the multiple research studies with the conclusion this chemical in your makeup causes breast cancer. It's in the research. So if you want to be a victim and be a part of a Facebook group, be a part of the Susan G. Komen marathons, and be a part of that crap, great. Ignore the Healing for the Ages. We don't want victims. People love being a victim. We're not here for you. We're here for those who want to know the truth and not be a victim and keep their body parts for the rest of their life.
Right. Hey,
who owns Susan G. Komen, by the way? It was started by Susan G. Komen. Does anyone know who actually bought Susan G. Komen from Susan G. Komen? Pfizer owns Susan G. Komen Foundation.
Wow.
So if you love Pfizer, keep showing up for the runs and the marathons and the color races. It'll be exciting. Keep supporting the NFL in October when they're wearing all their pink crap to continue to make sure everybody in the world is always thinking about cancer, 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 cancer. Were you not disgusted at the World Series last year?
Mm-hmm.
In the seventh inning stretch of one of the World Series games, they made everybody on the teams. If you want to know how far the cancer industry owns all of your reality, all of us got to sit back and watch in the seventh inning stretch, everyone in the stands, everyone in the dugout, come out and hold up a picture of someone that they know was affected by cancer and made sure the whole world knows we've all been touched by cancer. Be afraid of cancer. Keep funding our ridiculous research to try to find a cure for cancer, which, I mean, I don't know why we're still giving these people money. They haven't come up with a cure for the common cold yet. Do you really think they're going to solve cancer? I mean, they've been around for 100 years.
But did they have a link or something where
Yes.
did they direct people to go donate?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What are you going to say of Dr. Young, Robert Young, naturopath, incarcerated?
I don't know enough about the history of him and directly with his patients, but I will tell you they've been going after naturopaths. They've been going after doctors for years. They've been imprisoning people who are healing people for years without using drugs and don't carry a medical doctor license. So this isn't something new. This is just their new target. And what I think they're really trying to do, if you want to know the truth, I think they're trying to scare the crap out of people like me, Dr. Group, Dr. Ealy, from continuing to actually speak out against the beast. By using these individuals as examples that if we can take them down and put them in prison for the next 10 years, if we can take Trudeau and put him, because he wrote a book called Natural Cures They Don't Want You to Know About, we can put him in prison for 10 years. What can we do to you guys who want to speak out? Well, I'm sorry. You killed my father-in-law in a hospital. It's game on, mother effers.
That's right.
I'm not going to stop until I'm in the ground, making sure that everybody knows the lies told in medicine that are just repeated by medical doctors that don't know the difference because they were all just brainwashed in med school. They're just repeating what they're told. I mean, it's pretty ridiculous. How can every medical doctor in America get out of medical school convinced by the medical school and the textbooks that they were given and were tested on? How can they all leave school in America believing and then repeating to their patients that parasites don't exist in America? When every single one of those doctors who came out of those med schools, they paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to get their license for, how come I can send them to cdc.gov right now, type in cdc.gov, and in their search engine type parasites. And it says on their website, 90 million Americans currently have chronic illnesses because of parasite infections. How is it possible that the CDC knows way more than the medical doctors know? How is that possible that a third of Americans have parasites and are sick from them, and our government knows it, but the medical doctors that represent the regulations and bureaucratic efforts, how come they aren't told parasites exist in America and tell every patient, don't trust Dr. Group, Ealy, Schmidt, do not trust anybody that tells you your symptoms, your cancer might be parasites. No, don't believe them. Believe us. Parasites don't exist in America. Okay, you look really ignorant, medical doctor, when I just direct your patients to the cdc.gov's website and our government tells you a third of you all have parasites.
Right.
And they tell you exactly where you get it. In fact, they tell you, listen, I quote, CDC right now tells you the majority of all the people with parasites in America, a third of you have parasites that you got from your water supply in your city.
Mm-hmm.
How about 100% of people have?
Right, exactly. That's what it comes down to. So, Michael, to kind of wrap this up and put a bow on it, it's this. If if people are going to actually be healthy, then they have to commit to making themselves healthy again. That's the whole function of what we're doing. Make yourself healthy again, starting with your home. You can't be healthy if your home is jacked up. It's just, that's the way, it just doesn't work. So this first one for everybody, go to healingfortheages.com. Make sure that you get the replays for it. The promo code to get 30% off is JACO, Jaco, right? Let's make sure we're practicing community commerce. Go in. You see at the top right there where it says Virtual Solution Summit 25 up there. Michael, yeah, if you click on that, the team is right now working on updating things, so that'll be up there a little bit later today, so you can purchase the replays and all that other stuff. But make sure you put in promo code JACO and get 30% off the price of it. Make sure you use that same promo code for all of our previous replays, because all this information is right there. Yes, you have to sit down as a student. Yes, you need a notebook handy. Yes, there's going to be some work on your part to kind of to put into play the things that we are sharing here. But these are the things that are truly life-saving, especially in the environments that we're in right now. And that's why we're so excited to share those, with everyone. Now, on the horizon, what we want your audience to be aware of is that on April 10th, the Health and Human Services Department, Secretary Kennedy, fast-tracked a platform called Arcturus 2304, and there's another Arcturus platform called 154 that have both been fast-tracked for development and ultimately for FDA approval. Why are these our focus right now? These are our focus because these are self-amplifying mRNA shots. These are self-amplifying mRNA platforms. These should absolutely under no circumstances be approved, but they are fast-tracked to get approved. And here's our big concern with these. The big concern with the self-amplifying mRNA platforms is that whether you get the shot or not, you are going to come in contact with these if these get out. You are going